Let me thank Ms. Bryan for presiding over today's press conference organized by the Office of the Prime Minister, and to thank my cabinet colleague and recognize them, the Honorable Lindsey Grant, the Honorable Akila Byron Nisbet, the Honorable Wendy Phipps, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, the Honorable Vincent Byron, the Honorable Eric Evelyn, and we have our ambassadors, His Excellency Ambassador Sidney Osborne, our Ambassador Plenipotentiary, Ambassador Van Samry, our Ambassador, His Excellency Michael Powell. We want to recognize the Deputy Financial Secretary and other senior functionaries of the government, including those from our law and enforcement agencies. We want to thank all our citizens and residents who are tuning to this press conference. For us, this is an important part of our promise, good governance agenda, and I consider this opportunity to give account to our citizens and residents a distinct privilege, and may I add a sacred duty. Today I want to update the nation on the work and activities of our government over the last several weeks with respect to three broad critical areas of national interest. These areas are safety, relief, and recovery. Over the last 17 months, your Team Unity administration has focused its efforts on these areas in order to deliver the stronger, safer future we promise. We have been working hard to keep our citizens and residents safe from the dreaded COVID-19 virus. We have been provided much needed support and relief to those affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. We have been implementing initiatives that will facilitate our economic recovery. We believe that by focusing our efforts on these areas and more, we will ultimately deliver the best possible quality of life, and indeed the stronger, safer future that we promise, even in the face of this pandemic, which has wreaked havoc across the world. Safety and security are fundamental to societal order, good governance, and democracy. In 2015, we came to office against the backdrop of the disappointing failure of the past administration to keep our people safe. Homicides had reached a record high of 35 in 2011. Since assuming office, we have reorganized our security forces, enhanced manpower. We devised and are implementing the first national security strategy, which arrived out of extensive consultation. We increased budgetary support to national security from 62.8 million in 2014 to a record high of 99 million in 2020, followed by $86.2 million in 2021. We created new programs like the Alternative Lifestyle Program, ALP, and the Explorers Club. We are seeking to redirect our youths from the path of crime. We are emphasizing rehabilitation and reform in our prisons and positive engagement with youths in society. Today we have the largest national group of young persons organizing constructive activities through the Explorers Club. Over 1,200 young persons are participating in the club under the tutelage of our community policing team. Major crimes, including homicides, are trending significantly downward. Of course, we want to reach the ideal of 0 homicides per year. So far for the year, we have seen 7 regrettable cases. Last year, we had 10 for the entire year. We will continue our unwavering efforts to keep our people safe. In my view, the loss of any life to crime is a collective tragedy. COVID-19 is a major threat to societal peace around the world. You would have noticed the number of deaths, the lockdowns, and divisiveness across countries and societies far and near. To effectively fight COVID-19, we need to work together for a broader public good, which is our collective safety and security. COVID-19 is now being considered an existential threat to human security. No one is safe until all are safe. Hence, we must fight together and present a united front. The most powerful tool in our arsenal is vaccination. Our vaccination scorecard is an excellent one. However, we must never become complacent, but continue to vaccinate until we get everyone vaccinated. Given the arrival of the Lambda variant and the prospect that other variants may have entered our federation, we can expect surges in cases from time to time. We will only be able to check and contain the virus by having more of our people, I dare say all of our people, vaccinated. The higher the proportion of the population in our society that is vaccinated, the safer we will all be. We in government have come to trust our people's judgment. The vast majority of our people have done the right thing so far, and of their own free will, they went forward and they took the vaccine. We commend them. They are safer because of it, and our country is better for it. I will continue to appeal to all our citizens and residents to get vaccinated. This is the only way we will remove ourselves out of the shadow of COVID-19. August 12, 2020 was a very important day for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis in our fight against COVID-19. We received then a donation of 11,700 doses of the Pfizer vaccine. We took yet another step to protect our adolescents and adults from the virus. We made yet another significant step in our journey towards delivering the stronger, safer future. On September 1st, we will begin to administer the Pfizer vaccine. I must remind everyone that the Pfizer vaccine will be available to every individual 12 years and older. In other words, it will not just be for those of our students and those who are under 18, but anyone can have the Pfizer vaccine if they so desire. I want to encourage all who are interested to begin to make appointments at our health centers. I turn now to an update on our relief measures. Last Tuesday, August 17th, I reported to the nation on our comprehensive, targeted, and far-reaching stimulus package, which has brought relief to many people, especially the poor and vulnerable affected by COVID-19. This stimulus package is also expected to contribute to economic recovery. We provided this package of support notwithstanding the very destabilizing impact of COVID-19 on government tax revenues. We did this because we are committed to delivering the best quality of life to all our citizens and residents. In fact, we have given several tax waivers and deferrals over the last 17 months, even though this has further reduced cash inflows for the federal government. We did this because for us, people matter most. We feel their hardships and pain, and we will do all we can to lessen their difficulties. We are asking our people to protect themselves, get vaccinated, so that they can get on with their lives and contribute to their well-being and that of their families and loved ones. I am committed to supporting our people, especially those who are having a difficult time and require a hand up and a helping hand to usher them out of poverty, out of abuse, out of a life of criminality, out of extreme dependence. Yes, I will never ignore those who are lagging behind. Our stimulus package will help to temporarily bridge the gaps and inequality in our society brought about by the deadly COVID-19 pandemic. Our social safety nets are intended to reach the deprived communities and help them to improve their quality of life. Through our poverty alleviation program and a wide range of social safety net programs scattered across various line ministries such as health, education, social development, well over $50 million will be spent this year to bring some semblance of dignity to our vulnerable sons and daughters, including battered women, foster children, and those for whom we are bringing other real improvements in other areas of their lives. Turning to the income support program, this was the $1,000 per month to those who had been unemployed for an extended period during this period of the pandemic. The poor, vulnerable, and unemployed are benefiting from this income support program. I am pleased to report that to date, a total of 3,733 applications have been received by the Ministry of Finance. That is as at the 23rd of August, 2021. Of this, 1,886 applications have been approved. Claims will be processed daily until the cutoff of the 15th September 2021, when no further claims will be accepted. So what is in the system up to that time will be processed. After the 15th, we will not be receiving any new applications to any of the programs under the stimulus. Turning to the fuel subsidy, a total of 106 applications from bus operators have been received by the Ministry of Finance, and a total of 92 have already been approved. Disability support to families with disabilities, a total of 119 applications have been approved. Additionally, to support trainings at Addie's Place, we have provided a grant of $15,000 to that institution in Greenlands. Addie's Place is preparing persons living with disabilities with skills for work and effective engagement in society. My government is serious when we say no one will be left behind. Hence, we made this special carve-out for families taking care of persons with disabilities. Our food truck vendors support. All applications received from them have been approved by the Ministry of Finance. I turn now to the matter of our economic recovery, and I report that our recovery is moving apace. We have not yet fully there. We have not recovered all the ground lost, but we are moving in the right direction. This, of course, is best measured by the performance of the key economic drivers. At our cabinet meeting on Monday, August 16, we took a decision to spur cruise tourism by making a major concession to allow vaccinated cruise passengers to enter the Federation utilizing the antigen test. In making this decision, we took note of the following. 1. Once visitors are fully vaccinated, the risks of their transmitting the virus to our people is significantly reduced. The strong rollout of our vaccination program has seen St. Kitts and Nevis emerged with over 62% of the adult population fully vaccinated. This is one of the highest in the hemisphere, and over 73% having taken at least their first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine. This significant higher level of vaccination provides a further level of protection against the virus. Of course, we must never become complacent or drop our guard. Thirdly, the coordinated efforts to manage cruise visits through bubble arrangements will result in a safe corridor of containment. For with the advent of the Pfizer vaccine, even more persons can be and will be protected. The 5th point with respect to this is that the opening up of the cruise tourism will put thousands of persons back to work, increasing income flows and business activity. We took note that for 17 months, a large number of persons like taxi operators and some employees at duty-free shops at Port Zante and elsewhere have been without meaningful work. A brighter future now awaits them. They, however, should minimize their risks by getting vaccinated and observing all protocols. The 6th element we took under consideration is that the heavy dependence of state-owned enterprises such as Casper and Solid Waste and budgetary support from the federal government will be lessened as they will receive their own steady inflows from cruise business. For 2020 and 21, my government supported these entities to the tune of $12.4 million. And finally, the opening up of the sector will safeguard our heavy investments in cruise tourism and consolidate the gains so carefully built up over 6 years by my administration. The success of this is that St. Kitts and Nevis became a marquee port 2 years in a row, amassing over 1 million cruise passengers to our shores. We thank all the stakeholders and the Ministry of Tourism, led by the Honorable Lindsay Grant. St. Kitts and Nevis recorded the fastest growth in cruise tourism in the region. We will build on this even as we diversify around tourism and increase our stay-over arrivals, thereby building a stronger and more resilient economy. Turning to stay-over tourism, I am pleased to report the following in terms of the major air carriers into St. Kitts Nevis. American Airlines. I'm advised that the Miami daily flight to St. Kitts will resume on Tuesday, November 2nd. This flight, I gather, is already loaded. Delta, Atlanta. Saturday daily flight will end at the end of this month, but will resume during fall, providing a Saturday service. United Airlines. The Saturday weekly flight will resume on Saturday, the 18th December 2021, and will continue into the winter season up to around the 30th of April 2022. British Airways. The flight should commence once weekly service, starting on October 3rd and October 10th. Thereafter, it is loaded to come twice weekly, Saturdays and Wednesdays. Canada. Air Canada is loaded to commence Sunday, November the 7th, and this will continue throughout the winter season, climaxing on or around the end of April. In sum, we are expecting a much improved last quarter in 2021 relative to 2020 and a satisfactory winter season in 2022. Of course, our tourism officials are at work to even expand and to consolidate further traffic into our country. A word on education tourism. Our offshore institutions of learning are making a significant impact on economic life of our country. Thousands of persons come to St. Kitts and Nevis to participate in learning and work as students and faculty at institutions like Ross University, Windsor University. Their contribution to our economy has increased retail and wholesale activities, supported the restaurant and hospitality subsectors, and indeed home and car rentals are direct beneficiaries of this increased influx into the country. We are satisfied that the largest of these offshore learning institutions, Ross University, has already successfully, working with our national task force, repatriated about 1,700 students and faculty to St. Kitts and Nevis. Windsor University has advised that it has advanced its own plans for reopening in the fall of 2021. Turning to the manufacturing sector. The manufacturing sector is showing signs of a recovery. Most of the manufacturing entities are operating. Over 1,200 persons are back to work in that sector. Exports have shown growth. Records from the Customs and Excise Department reveal that the dollar value of merchandise exports increased to $58.6 million for the period January to July 2021, from $53 million in 2020, for an increase of 10.6%. The exports are mainly generated by our enclave manufacturing sector. Some companies should come readily to mind: API Harrow Server Limited in Sandy Point, Jaro, Cajola Cristada. The brewery has been engaged significantly in export in our sub-region, but we should also add Brush, the Mararo Distillers Limited, among several others that are engaged in export manufacturing. I turn now to agriculture and fisheries. Crops, livestock, and fisheries are performing much better in 2021 relative to the same period in 2020. This is due to the targeted support being provided to the sector. Over the period January to June 2021, crop and livestock combined recorded a 25% increase in production. The dollar value of crops and livestock produce was put at $5.5 million, an increase of $1.1 million over the $4.4 million recorded for the comparative period in 2020. Gains in production were recorded in cabbage, in onion, cantaloupe, cucumber, tomato, watermelon, and yam. So if you really want fresh produce, go to our market. On Saturday, indeed, 6 days a week we are open. And we have also expanded the range of opportunities in terms of access. At Borio, any day, you can get yams and potatoes and cabbage and onion, watermelon. Anything that is in abundance, you'll find at Borio. But equally, just out at the outskirts of Barnsley at Connery, we intend to develop that as another important market. And indeed, for some time now, a group of young farmers have taken on the task of reorganizing the old market in Sandy Point and making it available for fresh produce. Livestock production recorded gains in output. Beef went up by 24%, goat meat 27%, mutton by 7%, and pork at 18%. Overall gains in productions have been put at 20% over the comparative period in 2020. It is also of note that we have 1,100 registered farmers with the Ministry of Agriculture. 970 are males and 130 are females. I want to thank all of them because I consider them to be ambassadors for our food and nutrition security. I want to urge all farmers to register as self-employed persons with Social Security to protect themselves against loss of earnings and, of course, to secure their pensions in later years. The COVID pandemic exposed the vulnerability of many persons who did not engage and participate or register with the Social Security. When their darkest hour had come, they had nothing to look to for support. The Social Security was devised and was intended to be of assistance to our people in their most vulnerable times in life, be it at sickness, be it an occasion of maternity, be it an occasion of injury, be it an occasion of death. At all those vulnerable occasions, the Social Security was intended to come to the assistance of our people. But for them to benefit, they had to contribute little by little over their working years. So again, I want to encourage all the farmers, again, to put a little aside as your contribution as a self-employed person. Turning to the fisheries subsector, overall fish landings for the period January to July 2021 were recorded as 442,830 pounds, with a landed value of $4.9 million. This represented a 25% increase over last year for the comparative period, which is January to July in this case. The most significant year-on-year movement so far was seen in the landings of lobsters, which increased by 150% over last year's outturn. Additionally, reef and demersal fish, that is snapper, hind, butterfish, surpassed last year's output by 26%. In other words, there is an abundance of what we call potfish in St. Kitts at this time. Conch fishery has shown a 17% increase. We have 1,200 fishers who are registered with our Marine Department as of July 2021. In fact, the exact figure I was reminded by Dr. Mark Williams is 1,289 fishers. These are a significant number of persons, significant numbers who are engaged productively in an independent way, earning their own keep. A lot of them are not recognized formally in the Social Security system. I want again to urge them to the wisdom of doing so. So when we look at our employment statistics, we're talking then of about 1,100 thereabout in farming, registered with the Ministry of Agriculture, 1,200 registered with the Marine, for a total of about 2,300 persons. Significant number. Make the deduction for some overlapping. The crop farmer could be a fisherman also. A significant number will not be shown in the formal statistics at the Social Security Department. The significant improvements in our fisheries output and income, like with crop and livestock, these are the direct result of the government's efforts to build an inclusive society where everyone can do well. And we specifically targeted food security when we unveiled our stimulus package, providing, for example, for our fishermen fish pot wire, support with their engines and other inputs required for them to ply their trade successfully. Department of Marine Department introduced the FADS, Fish Aggregate Devices. Do I get it right, P.S. Collins? That again should help in a more bountiful harvest for our fisher folks. Another important growth driver for St. Kitts and Nevis is the construction sector. Several important private sector projects are taking place. The Royal St. Kitts Hotel has started its third major project, Plaza 2, while simultaneously building its luxury villa projects. Before that, they started the Cove condominium project. I'm advised this is now completed, and all that is left is for it to be appropriately furnished. Galaxy is about to start phase 2 of its hotel project at Whitegate. Phase 1 is being prepared, I am advised, for a soft opening this year. Phase 1 comprises 300 rooms. Hillsborough Suites and Residences is working to complete phase 1. This project will add 40 rooms to our residential stock, and this, of course, is located in the McKinley area. I want to thank Dr. Ballantyne and his wife, who have invested significantly in this project. Dr. Ballantyne was one of the first persons to have operated at the executive level in the build-out of our CBI program. But so far, this program has been funded substantially by their own independent efforts, or their efforts independent of the CBI program. So I want to thank them for that confidence they have shown in the economy. The Royal Limited is completing phase 1, and this will result in 196-room condo project in West Barstow. TDC Duas Residential Development, I'm advised by the Executive Chairman, is progressing smoothly. Private residential construction is continuing, supported in part by the government first-time home mortgage program. Up to the 11th of August 2021, 90 applications for duty-free concessions were approved by the Ministry of Finance and materials totaling $14.5 million. So every citizen who wants to make a fresh start in a long-term investment in property ownership, they can apply to the Ministry of Finance and they will get duty-free concessions and building materials. That tantamounts to a substantial saving in the cost of home ownership. The final growth driver for our country is our CBI program. And our CBI program was this week ranked number 1 by Professional Wealth Management, the magazine published by the prestigious Financial Times. This, in my view, is a tribute to the high-quality performance by our employees and key stakeholders who work hard to maintain the platinum standards associated with our widely respected Citizenship by Investment program. The program has the most rigorous due diligence requirements, and it is the most efficient and innovative in the world. While the COVID-19 pandemic has affected the marketing modalities, the program is performing relatively well in accordance with our 2021 expectations. One of the innovations we have introduced is the alternative investment option, which provide an opportunity for the government and other private partners to come together and to work on some project of importance to the government, while at the same time a private party then can receive substantial rewards by participating to the CBI program. And there are a number of projects that have been put to us. We have for long been talking about our prisons, which is critically important because 1840 should really have long lived, and we need to find a new place. The cost of building a modern prison is substantial, especially one that is targeting at rehabilitation and reform, so that when people leave the prison, they are ready again to re-engage in society. They are ready again to be loving fathers and loving sons and daughters. They are ready again to go to work the next day. So inside that prison, we have to have the various facilities that would accommodate that. Workstations, teaching them new trades, counseling them and supporting them, providing for their own health care, so that we don't have the situations which exist now, where we may have a number of prisoners in the line waiting for health care at some of our health centers. We would want to have as much as could be done within. And so that facility, we have expended probably about $3 million so far to one of our local architects, Stacey Hobson, to do the design and redesign of that particular facility in keeping with our ability to finance it. Now that we are having interest in that, as a result of the launch of the alternative investment option, we can say comfortably that certainly we will be starting this soonest. Once, of course, the project is evaluated by the committee established in the regulations. But it shows interesting thing, and it shows why independent observers, having looked at our program, evaluate it to be as being the most innovative one in the world. We continue to listen to the market. We continue to heed the advice of professional people who are advising us with respect to the CBI program. We are aware of some of the challenges. We are aware of what happened before we came to office. And we have been working very hard to do the very best we can to make it genuinely the platinum brand that we want it to be. In closing, our government promised a stronger, safer future. And with God's help, we are determined to continue our progress in spite of the challenges of the pandemic. And what I have outlined sector by sector indicates that the government have moved in a very careful way to open up all sectors of St. Kitts and Nevis, all critical sectors, while at the same time being true to the mandate of the government to keep its people safe. We have outlined some of these initiatives before. You have heard me repeat some of them today. We believe in particular that working together, one people, one nation, that we can achieve quite a lot, notwithstanding the challenges that COVID-19 represents. The COVID-19 pandemic, of course, is not yet over. And every day, each of us must remember that, so that our behavior is circumspect and reflective of the reality that it only takes one. It only takes one person not to abide by the protocol, to behave irresponsibly, to gather crowds in ways that create super spreading for things to get out of control. The government, of course, is a caring government, but COVID-19 demands personal and individual responsibility. I want again to appeal to all of us, all of our adults, to do the best we can to protect ourselves. Together we can make it work, and together we can deliver the stronger and safer future for all the people in St. Kitts and Nevis. I would want to pause now and to allow the representatives of the media to pose any question that they may have at this moment in time. Let me also recognize our Minister of Education, the Honorable John L. Powell, who has also joined us.